Lionhearts, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? Excellent. I hope you said great because I'm doing well as well. And wait a minute. As well, I'm doing well as well. You can't say stuff like that. Should we restart? Nah, we'll keep going. Alright, so what I want to do today is, when I started vlogging almost 4 years ago, because of economics and just lack of passion, my guitar collection shrunk down to a mere 2 guitars, which if you're a guitar player, you know, wow, how do you ever survive like that? I had 1 acoustic guitar and 1 electric guitar, and over the time that I've been vlogging, I've gotten to see so many amazing guitars, explore so many amazing guitarists and musicians' lives, that I have gotten to work on my collection quite a bit. And about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, for Christmas, I was back home in Ohio visiting a friend of mine who was one of my guitar teachers before I ever came to Los Angeles. And that was back in high school. Hanging out with him, and he was showing me some of the new guitars he had gotten, and I just kind of fell in love with guitars again. And he said, you know, if you ever wanted to get back into it, for some reason guitars are cheaper now to buy than ever. So I started collecting guitars when I would get a little bit of money here or there, and actually some friends had sent me money to get new guitars, just loving my channel. And so I'm going to show you today all of my guitars in order that I got and what I have now. I think you guys will enjoy it. Now I can't play them for you because I just moved, and I was in a very small apartment before, which only allowed me to have a tiny little amplifier that you plugged into the end of the guitar and use with headphones. So today we're just going to be showing you the guitars, telling you about them, why I got them, who they were associated with, and whether I love the guitar after owning it or not. So Daze with Jordan the Lion, Guitar Day begins now. Alright, here we go, my friends. My very first guitar. The very first guitar that I ever bought, the very first guitar I ever owned. And all the goofy little stickers that I put on it while I was learning. Nitro Records, Home of the Vandals, Flaming Lips, War with the Mystics, Smashing Pumpkins. A heavily worn out acoustic white Samick guitar. I bought it because I was inspired to learn guitar by watching La Bamba. Richie Valens in the movie was playing a white acoustic guitar everywhere he went, so that was the first one I got. Now, it used to say, right there you can kind of see some fading, that used to be a little inscription from my favorite songwriter at the time, Robert Pollard of Guided by Voices, which is what that yellow sticker is. I had named my band Candyland Riots after one of his songs, The Candyland Riots, and he had written a little message on there that said, to Jordan and his Candyland Riots, best of luck. Always holds a very special place in my heart. I never get rid of it, but I hardly ever play it anymore. Alright, when I moved to Los Angeles, I moved out here and I immediately bought a silver Telecaster, a glittery silver Telecaster with a black pickguard that Gilby Clarke of Guns N' Roses had built, had his name on it. I was out playing a show with my band, Candyland Riots, out here, and the wiring broke during the show. And that was a wake-up call to get a backup guitar. So this was my backup guitar that eventually became my main guitar. This is a DePinto Mach 4. You can see up here on the headstock that I named Clark Gable. I had went to Guitar Center and I had seen, I think it was the Mach 3 or it was something like that. I liked the idea of it, the sound of it, but I didn't really like the humbuckers and the pickups they were using, so played around with this one, liked this color, and ordered the blue, and that became my main guitar. I highly recommend the DePinto name. If you've ever wanted to play something a little out of the ordinary, this guitar is it. And I loved the inlays, those star inlays. And I liked that it had a bit of a surf look to it. At the time they were touting that Jack White of the White Stripes was playing these. Now next we have the Jimi Hendrix Monterey Pop reissue. Now what this was is, I actually at the time wanted the Brian May model guitar and they were completely sold out. And a friend of mine and I were talking, I said, you know, I always wanted one of those white Jimi Hendrix Strats that they released when I was in high school in the 90s. And that friend of mine said, well, you know, Jordan, if you're gonna get that, why don't you get one of those cool Monterey Pop ones? And I always loved that performance. Jimi hand painted and hand did this guitar, hand decorated it the night before Monterey Pop Festival in 1967. And then played Wild Thing on this guitar lit it on fire and smashed it to pieces. And they did an exact recreation of it, or as close as it's ever been released. And I was actually lucky enough to get to see a chunk of this in New York City when I was at the big guitar exhibition this year, Play It Loud. Jimi had broken this into a bunch of pieces, and just a bit of it has survived, and I was lucky enough to get to see it. So I was in the mood to buy one of these, and I just happened to check Craigslist. And there was a production company out here in Los Angeles that had used this for a music video. It had never been played, never been plugged in, and it was literally just bought to be seen for like a girl holding a guitar, and they were selling it. So I ended up getting it $150 cheaper, went to the production studio, picked it up, played it, plugged it in, was perfect, and now it's mine. So our next guitar is this Slash Epiphone Les Paul. I grew up loving Slash. He was actually the first guitar player I ever really gravitated towards, so I always loved to watch him play. And when I was in high school, I worked at a music store, like a guitar shop, and the guy helped me to, little by little, he financed me to pay for a Les Paul Custom, which I played for a while. But then when I moved to Los Angeles, the kind of music I was playing, I just didn't like the sound of it for it. And I got really hard up for money, and I ended up selling it. So once I started doing a little bit better on YouTube, I decided I wanted to reward myself. And I found this advertised in a pawn shop in Long Beach, got it for a very, very good price. It was actually about half of what they go for new. Again, plugged it in, played it, it worked fine. I've never had a problem with it. Let me show you what it is. I love it. It's the gold top. It's the Slash gold top, even though a lot of people say Gibson's the only way to go and that Epiphone's a cheap knockoff. The Epiphones now are very, very good. And like I said, I plugged it in, played it, I loved it. I always loved seeing Slash play these kind of guitars, so had to get it. It was a very good price. And what I did do was I found online that they had an alternate truss rod cover over here, so I ordered that and put my own on there. Right here, you can see Slash's logo. The one that it came with just says Slash on it. And I keep it right here inside the box in case I ever decide to swap them back out. Since my friend Vicki Hamilton is good friends with Slash, I'm always hoping that someday she'll help me get that signed. I want to have him sign the back of that headstock up there. I wanted it so bad for so long that I had to buy it, the Brian May guitar. Now Brian May famously made his own guitar when he was a kid from a piece of wood from his mantle place at his home, and he and his dad put it together. Just those two. They created all the electronics, did everything, and Brian was playing it his whole career. Different companies over time have released versions of this, but they never really sound quite right. People really never like them as much as, you know, people that have played this guitar, people that are friends with Brian, never really have liked those original versions that were released. Brian took it upon himself to start making them himself, and I found an interview where he said he was astonished by how much they were charging for his guitar whenever they were released, so he wanted to take it upon himself to produce them and make them affordable, which he did. These are less than $1,000 to get them. All the others were $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and you can buy them right off of his website, Brian May Guitars. Now, when I got it, this was a real pain in the butt to get because I had gotten it, I guess I tried to order it about 9 months out of when the movie came out, and they were just always sold out. Every time you tried to order one anywhere, I placed 5 different orders. I tried on his website, they were sold out. I would look on Musician's Friend, different websites, they would say they have them. I'd order it, pay for it, and then 2 days later they send me an email, we're sorry, we don't have this, it's sold out. So I was on a waiting list for 3 different rounds when they released these, and they would sell out 30 minutes after the email went out. Finally got one. I love it. It's everything that it was advertised to be, everything that you've ever heard Brian May play. Even if you're a terrible guitar player, it sounds really cool on this. And I went to Seattle and got this kind of cool Bigfoot sticker. Put it on the pick guard because I know it won't ruin anything. I can always take it off. Just a little personality from me. Alright, so this is one of the coolest things that I own. I almost couldn't believe it when I found it. This is by a guitar company called Fred Instruments, and what this is This is a replica of the last guitar that Jerry Garcia played. Jerry was always known for basically 5 guitars for the Grateful Dead. He played the Alligator, he played the Wolf, he played the Tiger, he played the Rosebud, and then the Lightning Bolt. Now the last one, this was made by a yacht builder who had seen Jerry talking about, you know, loving his guitar but wishing that it did a little bit more, and that there were a few things he was just never always happy with. So this guy, Stephen Kripe, just made Jerry a guitar and sent it to him, and it became Jerry's last guitar. Let's take a look. Now Jerry loved this guitar and got this in 1993, played it till the end of his life. This I just had to have. It had everything that he always wanted basically, and the company that made it was Fred Instruments. Now you might recognize this because I used this in my 1000th vlog when I did a vlog on the history of the Grateful Dead. I talked about, well, we actually went to the location where Bob Weir was walking down an alleyway one day, heard Jerry playing on New Year's Eve, and they sat together in a room, jammed, and that was the foundation of the Grateful Dead. And then we went over to the house that they came up with the name and named themselves. So I had wanted this guitar, found out that they were selling them, but Fred Instruments had a big backlog of orders that were coming up in front of me, and I wasn't gonna get this for like 9 months to a year probably. So I contacted them and I told them what I wanted to do with the video. I said, I want to make this 1000th vlog and I want to take this guitar to all the locations. So found out they were located about 35-40 minutes away from me, and they said, you know what, give us 2 or 3 days, we'll set one up for you and you can come pick it up. And they made it happen. They let me go out there, pick it up. It's an absolutely beautiful guitar, looks exactly like what Jerry played, plays exactly like it, and it's affordable. I think this was a little over $700, which may sound like a lot, but in the world of guitars, especially for a signature guitar like Jerry's, really worth it. There's some really nice features to it. You can see they really took some extra care on the tops of the knobs. It's got the same wiring Jerry used. Very cool guitar. So our next guitar is also made by Fred Instruments. It is Jerry Garcia's The Wolf. And I ordered this the same day that I ordered the Rosebud. Mainly, I really wanted this one really bad, but it wasn't available yet. They were saying this one was going to be an even longer wait than the Rosebud, and I had switched over to a new camera, really loved what I was getting, and I decided to sell all my old equipment, so I bought both of these guitars. And since I was going to make that vlog, they cut me a bit of a deal on it. So about 8 months after I ordered this, finally showed up in the mail, plays like a dream. If you love Jerry Garcia, you would love this guitar. They really did a fantastic job on it. The Wolf. And like I said, I went to the Play It Loud exhibit in New York City this year and got to see the actual one. So cool. And this also falls into the category of the Brian May guitar. Even if you're not a great guitar player, this will make you at least have the tone of Jerry. This was also a custom created guitar for Jerry when he got tired of the Stratocaster. This was guitar number 2. Now this guitar actually happened by accident. I was out making the vlog on the movie Car Wash, took the DePinto into a random guitar shop that I found online to have it all set up and make it sound wonderful again after years of neglect. Went in there and found a company that was making their own guitars inside there, and they were called Wolf Guitars. And I started talking to the owner, found out that he and I went to the same music school, and he told me what he was doing with his company. Said they were coming out with a new brand called All-in-One AIO Guitars that you can see on the headstock here. That's their logo. Said that when he got some new ones, he would love for me to come back and vlog it, because while I was in there dropping off my guitar, I was vlogging it, telling him about my channel, and he said, if you come back and vlog it, I'll give you one for free. I wanted to vlog it anyway, so we went in there, made the vlog. On camera, he gave me this SG style guitar. I put the Rolling Stones sticker on there and kind of Jordanized it a little bit, but it sounds amazing. Even though it was a free guitar, it's one of my favorites. I highly recommend AIO guitars. Totally cool. Thanks, Jen. And since I do try and support businesses, since he gave me the guitar for free, I did pay for this case from him. Now this is definitely one of the coolest things I own, and definitely something I will never, ever, ever get rid of. Breck and I last May moved Breck out to Texas. He has a YouTube channel called Escaping the Mouse, and while we were out traveling around, we made it to Texas where he moved to. Now when he got there, he flew out 2 days after we got there to go pick up his cats, and my flight got canceled. They offered to reschedule me for the next day, but I said, you know what? Why don't I just rent a car and go hit some more stuff in Texas and have some more fun vlogging? So I drove out to Clovis, New Mexico, and I went through Lubbock, Texas, where Breck and I had stopped and seen Buddy Holly's museum and Buddy Holly's grave, because I'm a huge Buddy Holly fan. But I didn't get to go to Clovis, where Buddy Holly recorded his songs at Norman Petty Studios, so I went and vlogged there and got to meet one of the backup musicians for Buddy Holly. And while I was touring the studio, they had a guitar in there, and I said, what is that? And they showed me it had a star on the top, and I go, that's really interesting, never seen one of those before. And they said, those are handmade by Sonny West, the man who co-wrote Oh Boy and Rave On, and you can buy those. So I came home, started investigating and looking around, and found an eBay account that a guy who owns a music store on eBay sells Sonny's guitars for him. Sonny still makes these. And so he sent me a list of 7 guitars that he had for sale that Sonny had made, and right as I'm looking at it, Breck sent me a PayPal and said, thank you for everything, thank you for getting me into vlogging, buy yourself something nice, this is for your channel. And I bought this guitar for $300 from Sonny West. It's signed, Rave On Sonny West, which how cool is that? And I like this one because it kind of, focus sesame. I like this one because it reminded me of the Bo Diddley style guitar. If you're interested, go look on eBay for Sonny West handmade guitars. Now this is the second to last guitar that I have purchased. This is the Buck Owens American. I first remember seeing it in Nirvana Unplugged, seeing Pat Smear play it. I love Wilco and used to see Wilco play it, but of course, Buck Owens on Hee Haw. Come on, Buck and Roy. I love seeing those old episodes, and I love going to Buck Owens Crystal Palace in Bakersfield, and they actually sell these there. You can look online, you can find American looking guitars like this, but they're not the Buck Owens American. They're a different company now, but Buck used to sell these when he was alive, and they've continued that on to this day at the Buck Owens restaurant, Crystal Palace. And so when I was leaving one time, looked up and said, if you have one of those handy, I want one. Love the guitar, it's so much fun to play. It's just fun to have a little bit of Buck Owens in your household. If you want to hear a great Buck Owens song, go listen to Buckaroo. So the last guitar that I've purchased, and the last one you're going to see today from me, is the Jimmy Page Dragon. I saw a really cool video on the making of these. Fender reissued them last year, I think, and they made a whole video on Jimmy Page telling how Jeff Beck had originally given him this Stratocaster when he was leaving the Yardbirds, and Jimmy used this for Led Zeppelin, and I just thought it had such a great story, a great sound. And then when I went to the Play It Loud exhibit, I saw it. They had it on display there, which was really cool, and then they were selling them at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I didn't want to mail it back or anything, but as soon as I came home, I kept thinking about this guitar. I knew they were limited edition, and I just said, I love that Telecaster that I used to have. The Gilby one that broke I mentioned earlier, I love playing it, but it just never really quite had the Tele sound I wanted. This one does. So I love this guitar, and I'm so happy to own it. The Jimmy Page Dragon. So just for honorable mention, I'll show you guys this. This is my Chinese lute. I bought this in I think 2003. At one time it had all of its strings, and at one time I kinda could play it, but now it's only got 2 strings left. I need to get it fixed. But it's a lot of fun to tinker around on it. It has a unique sound. Just gotta get it fixed. Alright my friends, I hope you enjoyed getting to see my guitar collection. I want to thank Dave Beachy and Mike Young for becoming my newest Patreons, and people often ask me what hobbies I have outside of vlogging because I spend so much time vlogging. That's pretty much it. That's really the only thing I collect anymore, and that's a pretty much complete collection. I don't plan on getting anything else. There's nothing else on my wish list. Those are all kind of things that I've kind of secretly wanted throughout my life, and I just thought if I could make them part of the vlog, why not? Why not tell you guys a story? So a lot of the times when I got those, I did. And today I just thought, hey, I'll tell you everything I have, why I got it, and maybe that will get some of you kind of interested in maybe wanting to get some of your own. Have a great night. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.